It is funny I was complaining about it so much, and I will say I have an easier time with the kick attacks than the punches, because I feel like it's because when I fought him, I've usually gotten, I feel like most of the time he's been doing his kick attacks against me, like when I was practicing against him. Yeah, I guess that is kind of the strat in terms of items. Just load up on life rooms and you kind of just pray to hit a super guard. That you can time it correctly on one of his attacks. Like, sorry, I'm just thinking, like, kind of two minds because, yeah, I don't like the fact it requires super guards to get through. But on the other hand, because it is a phase 2 thing, and because he'll have low HP, I think it's one of those things where it seems very daunting at first, but once you kind of like get it, it's not totally horrible. I'm still gonna be upset over the fact that it requires a super guard to do. I don't really like that kind of nonsense in my fights. You know, I think even if I was stuck dealing 1 damage per turn, I'll say 2 damage because I could just do Rally Wink. Even if I was stuck dealing 2 damage per turn, I would put up with it. I would do it if that was my only if I felt like that was my only option, you know. I do not like literally forcing the player on one strat and basically nothing else for that. Something you want to ask of old Wonky? So I'm gonna talk to this guy a little more and we'll see if I can run out the dialogue here, but tell me some info. Give me 5 coins, probably tell Lala's okay. I don't know. I'm not really sure who that is, but you know, the cute receptionist. Oh, her. Right. She never gets too personal from behind those iron bars because it's like business. But if you get in there and talk with her, she's a totally different person. You could go there and get to know her. Folks say she's super chatty, but only if you've got skills, and I ain't. And I suppose that's all I have to say. I mean, I saw you in the race, dude. It's a cold place secret. There's a pipe down here that leads to a very cool place all wonky hears. And if you jump in front of the tree to the far right there, you come out. Then you hit something nice supposedly, but you won't catch old wonky out in a chilly place like that. No, sorry. I wonder if that's the, because I think that's where I got a shine spray, right? I suppose that's all I have to say. Spin panels. Do you know about these weird and mysterious spin panels scattered around the world? When you spin jump near a spin panel, a star piece might pop out. Score. Problem is, they look just like regular flooring, so it's tricky to find them. Spin panels will jump up just a bit if you hit the ground nearby with a hammer, though. Might be worth it to hit the ground here and there and look for them. There's actually one right in front of me, so I'll give it a shot, why don't you? Is there really? Oh my god. Oh, we already got that one. Unless that one's meant to be empty as an example. About Yoshi colors. Sure. Way down to the south is an island where lots of Yoshis live, and Yoshis are born from eggs, as everyone knows. The Yoshi's color depends on its egg conditions right before hatching. So it's always a surprise to see what comes out, know what I mean? Your Yoshi has a rather nice color, by the way. I'm sure he'll grow up to be a fine Yoshi, yep. And I suppose that's all I have to say. Wow, I thought I might get more specific, but he didn't. The final tale. I heard this one from my old grandpa. It's a legend about one who will come to this town someday in the future. He will come when the sky grows dark again. Clothed in red and blue, the hero will bear 7 stars and face the darkness. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but red and blue seems like your kind of colors, am I right? If the hero turned out to be you, well, I guess that would be a bit much, huh? I suppose that's all I have to say. I mean, I've already saved the world, so it was me. Pirate King Cortez. About 1,000 years ago, there was a pirate king called Cortez on these seas. He raided the city often, striking fear into the hearts of its inhabitants. But Cortez was betrayed by one of his crew. Just before he died, he's said to have sailed off with all of his treasure. Then, after he died, some say his spirit still protects that treasure. But you know, that's all just hazy legend now. I suppose that's all I have to say. Pianta Parlor. There's a game center on the west side of Roqueport run by the Piano Syndicate. There's a hidden game there that few people know about. Only members are allowed to play this special game. Well, that's what all wonky is. If you want to try it, you'll have to find a member's card somewhere. I suppose that's all I have to say. I mean, is it really that much of a secret? I don't know if there's actually something more secret than the ones we have, or like if he's just talking about like the regular ones. Amazy daisies. I put both of my level ups into BP. I'm not sure if I said that, but yeah, I have 54 BP now. I've heard tales of an Amazy daisy. It's really a rare breed among the daisy. They're worth the oodles of star points, but they're timid and tend to run away fast. Still, I bet if you kept visiting the same area, you could meet one again. I suppose that's all I have to say. The Lucky Peonies. There's a place called Boogly Wood somewhere in this world, and there are small beasts named peonies who live there. Well, Wonky hears that anyone who sees a peony will have fortune visit upon them. Some people go to Boogly Woods just to catch a glimpse of a lucky peony. So that's all I have to say. Check back with Wonky. Ah. Guess it's best since I have no new stuff to tell. But I can tell you what I told you before, and I won't even charge you for it. Alright, we ran out his, I thought he would say something about, Wackos. Because I want to say he's the one that says, like, that they're rare or something, but maybe that's Goombella? Also, where is it? Probably up there. I need to grab my phone for this because I don't entirely remember it. So when I went back to the bottom of the pit, I was kind of curious if Wacko would say anything else, like something different. So when you're talking to him, he'll say like, you made an awfully long trip down here again. And it says, it sure is nice to have some company. Wackahoo, yakadoo, wick wick whack, ahoo. And then after I fought him, it says, Wackahoo, I lost again, but that was fun. You sure are strong. Makes me feel a little better that he had fun. Is there a hidden block up here somewhere? Partner. So, But yeah, that's pretty much it for this playthrough. Oops. Don't really have... There's nothing else on the agenda that I want to get done. It's driving me crazy. Where is it? This is the kind of thing that I should be doing in my own time. Not on recording, but it's kind of driving me nuts. I doubt it's like a flurry thing, right? I don't think I have anything else that would, Hold on. Okay, apparently it's right here in the goddamn corner. That makes me very upset. Yes, I had to find that. Let's get out of here before I, pretty sure there's still something under here, yeah. I'm not gonna get distracted by it. I want to keep this somewhat short. I mean, we're almost at 40 minutes, so... I kind of want to be able to keep this as its own video. Actually, never bought Charm again. Meant to do that. There is. Okay, well, it's not that, so. I don't really have, I feel like I've shared my thoughts for the most part on this game. I know in a server I'm in, I shared some fuller thoughts, but I think it was mainly a comparison of how when I look at this game as a, and sorry if I'm retreading a bit of ground here, but about how my thoughts on this game are a little different depending on if I'm looking at it as a remaster or a remake. Because as a remaster, I think it's pretty good with all the stuff it adds, with all the, and I don't just mean like content-wise, like 2 new bosses and stuff, and like a new recipe, a new badge and stuff. But I mean in terms of all the attention to detail. So like when you hit people with your hammer, that they actually react like that. There's actually like some environmental reaction. There's the improvement to like all the visuals and everything, obviously. Does the game like feel a little different? Yes. And especially maybe if you just played the original and then played this, I'm sure that you would notice it, but or maybe if you played the original a lot. But if you're more casual like I am, and I imagine as most people that probably bought this were, then I don't think you're gonna notice too much of a difference. Like, the only major thing I really felt like I noticed was to do with Yoshi's flutter jump. And also like to have actually having the backside walk sprites, new expressions, that kind of stuff. It helps a lot. Helps make the game feel more modern for sure, and it adds a lot more charm to the game. 330 coins. Let's see, what else? What else to talk about? Oh, as a remake, I'm rather disappointed because I expect more changes to the core, the identity of the game for a remake. And things I'll point to is like the Resident Evil 4 remake, or the one that has been on my mind the most is the Dead Space remake, because while I think there are times where I can kind of feel like I'm just playing a remaster when I'm going through the rooms that are very that are near identical to the original. I do remember that there is progression differences in terms of levels, and like in the original, it's like a chapter would always end when you get to the almost every chapter, I'll say. Not every chapter, but most chapters end when you get to the tram cart. And I think the one exception is like the final chapter where you're getting on a space shuttle to go to the asteroid, planet, whatever it is. In the new game, a lot of the chapters no longer end at the tram. Most of them end when you're finding a pathway to another section of the ship. And then you open the tram station. And the game is kind of, I don't know if I should say open world, but you can basically travel wherever you want to go as you unlock the areas, right? And then you have like weapon revamps, you have Isaac actually talking, you have some story differences that especially fix some of the, like, my biggest issue with the original. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to spoil everything, and that's, you know, we're not playing Dead Space here. Like, I think about how all those things you have there change the core experience of that game. They make for something new that's, I think, gives it more reason to be played on its own. Like, it's not a situation where it's like, if you have the original, you're probably fine with the original, you know? I think, while this game with its 2 super bosses would be the biggest reason to buy this, if you've played the original, especially to death. Outside of that, I don't think you're missing too much, right? It is very faithful to the original, and as I've said before, remade from the ground up or not, if the core experience is basically identical to the original, and the main scenarios, like the main campaign, the stuff you have to do to finish the game, if those are basically the same, then to me it's a remaster. Remasters were absolutely allowed to add extra content, extra bosses, new badges to the game. It's when you start changing story, gameplay, like level progression, chapter progression. If you're revamping the areas, which is the biggest thing I would have wanted, that's when we get into remake territory. And I see, part of the reason I would think I would have loved is, like, I kind of want a Paper Mario game that has the combat of TTYD, but has the maps and like areas of the first game, right? And I think that's part of the reason why, like, I would still love to see a remake of the first game with TTYD gameplay. Like, have the stage with all the audience there, have the ability to switch your partners around, and that they actually have their own HP. And just, like, basically have a lot of those mechanics in the first Paper Mario game. And I would happily call that a remake, because the core gameplay, to me, the core combat gameplay at least, is different. You could still leave and then you can, like, to me, you can leave the chapters, the areas the same, but I feel you've changed enough for that to be a remake. This is so as a remake again, I feel very disappointed with it because my expectations are higher for a remake. I expect them to tackle some of the issues the game has, or even challenge themselves to say, where do we think we can do better, even though this area of the game is considered good by the fans? Is there any way we can improve it, even though it's very well liked? You know, like, I want a remake to be that, where the devs are challenging themselves in those ways. Again, mostly stuff I've said before, so... Yeah, I am, at the end of the day, I don't want to give the impression that I'm not happy this game exists. I am, because I think it's great that Nintendo is finally giving classic style Paper Mario a shot. I just hope it's not a one-off, you know? I hope this is them saying, okay, we've heard you, we know you want old style Paper Mario back. We'll give it to you. You know, and I hope that they find a way to get back to this and improve it, change it. I like maybe having 2 party members out at a time, or I don't know. There's a few things they could do. They could even look to Bug Fables for inspiration if they wanted to, for some gameplay changes to make. I will say, at the very least, I wouldn't want them to do like what Bug Fables has, with just having your 2 party members as you're always like how do I put it? Like that you're always stuck with that squad of 3. And don't get me wrong, I adore the 3 of them, Leaf, V, and I kind of forget. I kind of feel bad that I forget his name, the beetle. I adore them to death, and I love that game. And I think there are things they could look at that for inspiration. But I really like having multiple partners to switch out of and through. It's a case where I think Bug Fables did the right thing on having 3 characters, because it's a lot easier to write for the 3 of them, and you always have them out in the chemistry of the 3 of them, and they all get more like character development. Where I feel like, because in this scenario where you basically always only have the 1 partner out, there's only like a handful of cutscenes that even have all of them out, which even then is pretty limited when they all actually talk. Sometimes they're all just out to look. I would definitely want to have multiple partners that we could swap out and between. And it would be nice to see if they could find a way to like still have them all chime in a little more in the game than it kind of being stuck where it's just the 1 partner that's out that's chiming in, you know? That's my hope. We probably won't see another Paper Mario game till 2028. These have generally been 4-year releases. When you average it all out, I've always said this, the original release in 2000 in Japan, I know like the North American release was 2001. Then you had TTYD in 2004. Then it was 3 years till... Yeah, I think 3 years when... It was 2007 when Super Paper Mario came out. But then it was 5 years when Sticker Star came out. And then it was 4 years, because it was 2016, 4 years when Color Splash came out. And then another 4 years till Origami King. And 4 years until this. So 2028 is a pretty safe bet for when we'll get the next game. Hey, if they did 3 years and we got 2027 instead, I would be happy with that. I'll be starting to push 30 by by that point. But yeah, I hope I would really love to see them do what I said earlier with the first Paper Mario. That is what I want to see the most personally. I would like, don't get me wrong, I'd love a new game, but I'd hope they could fit that in somewhere, you know? Because there is a part of me that was sad and somewhat disappointed that they were doing this game, as much as I love it, over the first game. But then again, who's to say if they did the first game that they would have updated the combat in that game? I just kind of feel like that would have to be a must. I can understand keeping this game more the same, because I do think it's the better overall game. And the combat again is a big reason why I think it's the bigger game, the better game. It's definitely a more interesting story, one that's a little not as safe as compared to the original 2, so that helps. But this isn't a comparison between the 2 games. My throat's also a little dunzo. So that's what I hope to see. But again, I will also welcome a new game as long as they harken back to this. Also, real quick, I doubt there's going to be anything different. Well, let's go take a look-see. See if anything's changed on the title screen. I don't see anything different. What about on the menu thing? That's the same. I was wondering if they might add some like flair as a sign of completed the super bosses, but it doesn't look like it. Well, that will do it. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this adventure, and this playthrough is going to be hella long. I've kind of been debating on how I'm going to render out the last few recording sessions, like the last 2 or 3, basically the post-game stuff. Because I'm not going to do probably not going to do traditional 15-minute videos. I might kind of break it up because a lot of it is the Pit of 100 Trials and the Parlor and then the Prince Mush fight and this, right? So it's going to be interesting to edit this, and this has already been 53 minutes, and for sure it hasn't needed to drag on this long, but as I say, I always have the hardest time ending a recording session. It's harder to restart a recording session than it is for me to end it. Definitely for me, even though this won't be going up for a long time, because this playthrough is usually going to be over 100 parts again like the original. I'm definitely going to take a little break from recording. I need time to render out all the videos and get them uploaded. Like the Dead Space 3 playthrough is still going up. Obviously, I think I should be uploading part 37 of that today, and then part 31 of the Paper Mario playthrough. I had 35 parts from the first 2 recording sessions, and basically every recording session, minus this one, was like over 4 hours long. That was kind of the average, was like 4 to 4.5 hours of my recording sessions for this. So it was a lot. It was a lot and a lot of fun. And until we get our next Paper Mario game, I look forward to other games, and I'll look forward to hopefully a Paper Mario game that's like this one. For my next project, Dead Space Extraction, at some point, if I can figure out a recording partner for Dead Space 3 co-op, I found, or I looked for the exact date. I knew the 360 marketplace goes off sometime in July. It's July 29th, so I still got a bit of time. I just need to find a recording partner for that, and I might have someone, but they are a complete stranger, so I kind of want to get to know them first before I totally resort to that. I want to get to know them at least. Make sure I feel comfortable recording with them. Which, yeah, it's kind of crazy that I still have so much Dead Space stuff on the mind for recording, but even though that's been like, over half a year, it feels like, of Dead Space focus for my channel. But the next big project, which I'll say at this point because I know this isn't gonna be going up for any time. This isn't gonna go up anytime soon. Is DMC. I have some special avatars. Well, I have this avatar with some special clothes, I should say, to make that playthrough a little more special. And that will be a lot of fun to finally play the DMC games. And that will be 6 games in total, because I'll be playing the reboot as well, which has its own merits. I think it's a good game. Based on what I've seen, it's just, It's got a different flavor to it, I guess, if you will. Anyway, I can't remember if I already said, but thank you to Ghost Cabbit, they made them all. Thank you SnowHusky, who did the VRM work, the color work on this. You guys make this possible for me. I'm very particular about my models, and I love these models a lot. That said, until next time, ciao for now. Bye.